I wanted to take some time today to share a little bit about me, but also how Toastmasters has transformed my life. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and hopefully you all can see my screen. If you can just give me a thumbs up, technology can be a beast. Let me know that you're able to see my screen. Thank you, Amy. Wonderful. Thank you, Renisha. Because I do want to make sure that you see everything I've prepared for you all. And I've been listening as I joined earlier, and such a great lineup of speakers that you have. I hope I can live up to Roy and to Amy and to Iva. Thank you so much for everything that you all have shared. And hopefully, this will be a nice bookend to all of that. I wanted to share how Toastmasters has transformed my voice, my leadership, and my life. And I don't mean that lightly. I'll begin by sharing that, yes, I am director at Stanley Black & Decker Leadership Development. I also spent about 2 years at Wesco as head of leadership development. And I met the lovely Renisha at the Home Depot, where I spent about 5 years with that organization. And Toastmasters has been a thread through all of that. So I want to share a little bit of my journey today with you all, starting with the fact that since this theme is showing up, right? How has showing up in Toastmasters made my life what it is today? Well, I'm going to share with you a little background about myself. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, but I currently sit in Atlanta, Georgia. And when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, I was invited as a guest. Amy, I loved your portion where you're talking about converting guests to members. I was invited by a wonderful colleague named Charlie to become a guest at his Toastmasters meeting. And I thought that I was just going to go there and sit in the back and just observe. But of course, we all know that when we see a guest, we pounce on them, right? We're like, come on up, come on and try table topics. So I was hesitant. It was my first time in the room, and they had a pretty simple prompt. I believe it was, if you could be any superhero, who would you be and why? Okay, if you've ever gotten one of those table topics type questions, right? I see some head nodding. Then I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. The person who was at the lectern said, we've got a guest. Would you like to give it a try? And I said, okay, I acquiesced. And it was that moment that the magic was born for me. I remember going up to that lectern and thinking of what I was going to say. And of course, I said I would like to be Iron Man at the time. Oh, yeah, I said Iron Man, and I don't regret it at all. Okay. Iron Man was cool back then. Okay. I said, I want to be Iron Man. I want to be able to stick my hand out and go like this to all my haters and enemies. And I actually got best table topics that day. And I know they weren't giving me just a mercy ribbon and do. I knew they weren't just giving me the mercy ribbon. I was hooked. Okay. So I want to share with you that I went from being a guest to a member, but then to a founder of a club as well. So I know you'll appreciate that journey, Roy, and chartering clubs and then mentoring clubs as well. So Toastmasters is huge. It's a life source for me. And I'm going to share with you a very tongue-in-cheek reason why that is as well. But just a little background that you're seeing on the screen. I have over 20 years in leadership development, sales training. I coach and empower people through coaching. If you can celebrate with me, yesterday I officially got my ACC in coaching, which is a credential from the International Coaching Federation. And I passed that exam with flying colors. And I'm excited that I continue to get to develop leaders, develop people to becoming their highest self, their best potential. I also get the pleasure of being a keynote at other organizations. Earlier this year, I got to speak at United Rentals. Just last week, I got an opportunity, an invitation to speak at Cummins Incorporated. I've spoken for Norfolk Southern as well, and CSX, which are railroads. And even though I am a thought leader, I love how they put that there, right? We all have thoughts. We're all leaders, right? Even though I have been published and written so many things and talked to so many audiences, at the end of the day, none of that would have been possible if I had not shown up as a guest at Toastmasters over 15 years ago. And I know the exact number of years because that is when I met my husband. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let's tell a story. Lean in, everyone. I became a member for my first Toastmasters club, and I was a secretary back then. I was the secretary. If any of you have ever served as secretary, you feel me, right? And my club president asked me to mentor a new person, a new member. His name was Scott Bolton. Oh, Renisha, here we go. I was there to be paired with Scott, and I remember her words verbatim. She said, Rachel, you're so animated, you're so extroverted, and we've got a member who is absolutely introverted and very stoic. And I would love for you to pair with them so that maybe you can bring out some vocal variety and some animation and facial expressions while he's working on his icebreaker speech. And maybe he can pair with you and teach you how to have executive presence. At the time, he was a director and was a very serious gentleman when I met him. And let me tell y'all, we have been married 16 years, and I'm still trying to teach him to be more motivated, animated, more facial expression, more vocal variety. And he's still trying to teach me how to calm down. All right. So it's a match made in Toastmasters. Literally, by walking into that room and by showing up, I made that brave decision that day, and it produced two children for me, a lifelong love for the rest of my life. So Toastmasters has even brought me my husband. And it's not just that it is a wonderful club or the fact that you get a chance to practice all of these things. It is also that you make these lifelong connections. And I would love to see any thumbs up if you have made lifelong connections from Toastmasters. I mean, people still follow me on LinkedIn. They still follow my career, even though I've left different organizations because I met them in Toastmasters, right? We're a really unique family. And I want to stress that being able to show up and make that brave decision to create your pathway, select your pathway, start pushing yourself toward it to get to the level of Toastmasters that you're wanting to get to. Oh, I still strive to get to distinguished Toastmaster because I believe that that's in me as well. So I wanted to talk about how showing up here really translates into the rest of your life. And I had to start with table topics. I had to go here, right? Table topics was the first role that I took as a guest, right? And it sparked something in me, the ability to speak off the cuff, right? It trained my mind to be able to speak with clarity and confidence in less than 2 minutes. How long do we get? 2 to 3 minutes, right? So if you practice table topics long enough, those unscripted moments, it is going to become a natural reflex. It's a muscle you flex so much that now you can speak off the cuff anywhere. That improvisation has helped me so incredibly in my career. I cannot lie to you all today. I do podcasts, I do interviews. I am often asked things off script, off the cuff, and I am able to answer with clarity, with confidence, in short, succinct bits and sound bites. And what does table topics teach us? Well, they teach us to trust our instincts, our natural instincts. What comes to mind? How am I going to structure it and say it in a quick soundbite, right? That taught me to learn to trust myself and to organize my thoughts on the fly. But table topics is great for another reason. It also, like I said, it builds that muscle. It's like doing a rep. You're continuing to build that rep, 5 pounds every time, every time, every time. Well, then when the stage actually presents itself, when the opportunity to be featured on a radio podcast or to be interviewed for an award ceremony comes up, I don't sweat. I don't freak out. I'm like, oh, fun. This will be fun. It's like table topics, right? Throw me a question. What do you got? I have been on panels with the chief of learning from Google. I have been in interviews with people who are of higher caliber of me, the chief operating officer of Norfolk Southern, putting me on the spot and saying, hey, Rachel, can you speak to this? What does leadership development look like in 2025? Now that question 16 years ago would have had me sweating, would have had me a little nervous. But you could ask me anything today, and I'm more than prepared to answer it. And that is because table topics taught me that. It teaches us to turn that adrenaline, that sort of nervous feeling, into energy, right? It turns fear into focus. Now I am able to get right up to the lectern, get right up to that microphone. They pass that microphone to me, and I'm absolutely ready to smile and deliver. And that only came from table topics and Toastmasters, I tell you. Now, practice made it permanent for me. Practicing in that first club that I was in, but also I founded a club called Pro Talk at Home Depot Pro. And I got to see people practice their table topics and see them speak off the cuff. And so many hundreds of dozens of thousands of opportunities to speak for 2 to 3 minutes and watching people do that, that built the foundation for the confident and capable woman that you see in front of you today. I believe that if it weren't for Toastmasters, I would never be the superpower house that I, as Renisha so lovingly described me, that I am today. I am able to think on my feet, speak clearly when it's needed, and inspire others in real time. And I know if I had not walked through that door as a guest many, many years ago, I wouldn't be on some of the stages I'm on today. So with that, I noticed Roy did a little bit of this, but I want to have some fun. I know I've got some very, very skilled individuals in this room, and I would love to have one volunteer to go through one fun prompt with me. And no, I'm not going to give you the prompt first. I need to see your hand up. I want to know who wants to volunteer. Who would like to volunteer? Please raise your hand. And if you see a volunteer, Renisha, because I know I'm sharing my screen and I can't really see everyone, but who would like to volunteer with Rachel? I promise it'll be easy. We've talked about all the benefits of this. Who would like to have some fun? What do we think?
I see some thumbs
Oh, I
up.
see Bridget. I'll go with you, Bridget
I
Lewis.
see Bridget. Yep,
Bridget
Lewis
in
is on there.
Atlanta with me. I love this. That's right. District 44 is showing up. Sorry, Cedric, I saw your hand as well. But here is your prompt, Bridget. Here, I'm going to put it right on the screen. If you could tell us what's one opportunity that you might have missed if you hadn't shown up? What do you got?
Well, good morning, District 44. If I hadn't shown up, what is one opportunity I would have missed? Actually, I would not have been a project manager. It was a story where I worked in operations at AT&T, and we were going through some reorganizations, as some of you more than likely have been through before. Part of those opportunities in reorganization is if you can find another role within the company, then we will hire you there. There was a group within the company on the technology side that were looking for project leaders. I had never been a project manager before, didn't understand. I knew what the word project manager meant, but I did not envision myself as one. But I am in the hand raising, stretch myself, I'll take a chance. I always bet on me. So I raised my hand, they hired me. They were willing to teach me, give me all the tools. I found out that I had the skill set. One of those skill sets was coming to Toastmasters to learn how to speak and to give a message to my team and to be a leader in that aspect. So if I had not raised my hand at that opportunity, even though I was scared and uncertain, then I would not have found project management, nor would I have found Toastmasters.
Oh,
Thank you.
beautiful. Oh, we got to give Bridget some love. I see y'all like the emojis in this one. Bet on yourself. I always bet on me. I love the confidence. Did you catch it? Did we catch it? Okay. She raised her hand. She showed up and it gave her a whole new title, a whole new role, a whole new opportunity. Absolutely love that, Bridget, and brings home exactly what I'm saying. When we raise our hands, when we show up, who knows what's on the other side of that, right? Could be a new role, a new opportunity, a new husband. Hey, I got that right. All right. So table topics is one of those things that is close to my heart as well. Now, I also love the analogy that Renisha uses, Dr. Allen, I should call her, right, of a lab. And I want to share how Toastmasters was sort of my first leadership lab, if you will. Oh, yes, I got my beakers, I got my microscope. Dr. Allen, I'm here. All right. Now, when I shared earlier that I founded a club, this was based off of internal employee engagement surveys. Many of you work at organizations every year. They put out an internal survey wondering what the pulse of the associates or the employees is. And one of the lower scores that we got at Home Depot Pro at the time was employee development. They wanted more development. And after working at a call center with sales professionals, account managers, regional sales managers, they want to grow. And they didn't have anything, a vehicle at the time that would allow them to grow outside of their roles. And I thought, oh, wait, y'all need growth? Well, Toastmasters is what you should have. This place doesn't have a club. How do I found a club? How do I start? How do I charter a club? Because this organization needs one. So that is where it started for me. I went from being an account manager. I had a book of business. I was working from a catalog. I was selling hardware tools with Home Depot by day. But by night, in my mind, I was structuring how am I going to create a club here that will serve these employees and allow them the chance to really grow and develop. So that's why I call it my first leadership sandbox, if you will, a safe place for me to learn how to lead a group, but also for these other empowered individuals to learn to lead as well. This meant me as founder having to figure out who are our officers going to be? How do we promote the club to get people in this building to join it? How do we get people to not sit in their cars during their lunch, but instead come to the training room for an hour and grow and develop? Oh, what a wonderful journey that was for me. I was a club officer. I mentioned earlier I was a secretary at the original club that I joined with CSX down in Jacksonville. And when I was secretary, I got a chance to learn so much. It taught me how to plan. It taught me how to influence and persuade others. And it helped me get more detail oriented because if you've ever served as secretary, oh, you better have your ducks in a row. You better know exactly what you're doing because the club is depending on you for those details. But also, one of the great things about Toastmasters, whether I was running one or serving as an officer or a guest in one, it allowed me to really embrace feedback and evaluation. Renisha knows this, but I am a big champion of feedback. I believe feedback is a gift. And I have got an ebook on it. It is one of the cornerstones of what I preach to my followers, my fans, and to my internal organization at Stanley Black and Decker. We are currently running a workshop called Creating a Feedback Culture that I created, that I have scaled across a global enterprise. Yesterday, on Friday, in China, people were hosting and sitting through my workshop at about 6 a.m. in the morning. And no, I wasn't on the call. Someone from China was hosting that, not Rachel. Okay. But it was my content. Exactly. It was my content. And I trained those facilitators to go out and deploy this across the enterprise. And it's beautiful to see in China, over 30 people joining a workshop that's 2 hours long to learn how to become feedback champions in our organization. I would have never proposed that kind of initiative within Stanley Black and Decker if it hadn't been for Toastmasters. Toastmasters has such a beautiful way of structuring evaluation and feedback. And you just saw it moments ago before the break for that base cap manager dashboard, right? Where you can see where everyone is and where you can learn how to see where they are in their journey and what evaluations they've gotten and what feedback you can provide. Oh my goodness, I know about the tariffs. Don't start me, Louie. I'll just lose my train of thought. Don't start me. Okay. But yes, it is a beautiful, beautiful way that we teach ourselves within these clubs to accept feedback, how to properly give feedback through the evaluator role. And even some of the contests, I remember doing contests, Renisha. I would go to some of the evaluator contests in Jacksonville, Florida, because I wanted to be good at evaluating. And it helps me in my career today. The ability to communicate with my leader, my skip level, and provide feedback that's actionable, that is clear, to provide evaluations when we're talking about talent planning and succession planning that's clear, encouraging, but also honest and truthful, is absolutely a gift that I received from Toastmasters first that was cultivated over time, and I get to use it today in my role. What I'm trying to say is what you do in Toastmasters absolutely transfers to your corporate life. For those of you who are in the working world, I know we had someone who is retired. And when I heard she was retired earlier, Roy called on someone who was retired as coaching and mentoring. I said, that's my future. That's my future. It's coming, but it's coming. I see a Toastmaster immediately within my organization. I know that they have either been through Toastmasters or they are currently in one based on how they run a meeting. And I'm going to talk about that in the next slide here. But I can tell they've got the structure, the poise, the timing. They feel like they have an inner drive in them. Toastmasters creates that in us. It brings out who we truly are, and it drives our purpose in everything that we do. And speaking of everything that we do, this is how leadership is learned. It's learned by doing, putting yourself out there. And going to that first meeting as a guest was when I showed up in faith, stepped out, and actually got hooked, got addicted, loved it, loved the lectern, loved the gavel, loved the applause. I love the structure. Toastmasters is what every meeting should be in corporate. And here's what I mean. When you are in Toastmasters, you get the beauty of a printed out agenda. Oh, that agenda with the timing, Renisha, every little piece timed. It tells you who's in what role, division director, hear me. It tells us what the expectations are. When we vote for who's going to be best, we have a vote counter. Everything is structured. But when we go to corporate life and real life, and I want y'all to keep me honest, show a thumbs up if you've ever been in a chaotic meeting at corporate. That could have been an email. Ciao. That could have been an email. I have been sitting through meetings here at Stanley Black and Decker. I mean, back-to-back meetings, Renisha, where there is no agenda. The meeting goes over time. The people who are in the meeting, they start talking and they go off on a tangent. I'm trying to land. I'm counting ahs. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm counting what's. I'm counting so what's. I'm counting, ooh, child. Ooh. Okay. And after the meeting, after we spend that much time together, there's not even any follow-up. No follow-through. Now, this is not unique to Stanley Black & Decker, and I'm not biting the hand that feeds. I love this organization. Please go out and buy a DeWalt tool this weekend. Please, please, okay? But I also have to be the change that I want to see in my organization. So when I run meetings, there's an agenda. When I run meetings, I keep my time contract. Ooh, I wish I could have that red, yellow, and green stoplight just right on my screen and go, you're over time. No more. Okay. Because we're busy individuals, we're busy professionals, we have things to do. So the point of this is to share that if you can run a great Toastmasters meeting, you can run a great business meeting. Can I get an amen in the chat? And I wish more organizations championed having internal Toastmasters clubs so that they can learn some of those reflexes that help us run effective meetings, because gosh, we need them more than ever. All right. Amen. And thank you, Bernie. Amen, Deborah. Amen. Now, even though we have to sit through meetings from time to time that aren't as structured as we'd like, that's okay. Toastmasters has done more than teach me how to have great meetings. The truth is, it's transformed more than my career at work. It's bled into my life. One of the things that I can't believe I get the chance to say to over 80 of you right now is that I often get invited to speak at national conferences for learning and development or leadership development. I often get the chance to host large scale events on the screen. Renisha probably remembers this, but I actually got a chance to interview the mayor of Atlanta at the time. Her name was Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Hey, y'all remember her? Y'all remember her? I got to interview her. Who gets to interview a mayor on live TV? Well, live internet, but you know what I'm saying? With the CEO of an organization, I was co-hosting a live Women in Pro event with the CEO of Home Depot Pro and interviewed the mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I could pinch myself. I still don't believe that that's real. And I was pregnant with my son at the time. Lord have mercy. Okay. And then I also have won awards for our leadership development programs. And when you win awards, you have to give an acceptance speech. And I know that that is in the future for so many of you that are on this call right now today. Can you imagine the acceptance speech that you're going to be giving? Can you imagine the stages that you're going to be gracing? Can you imagine the people that you're going to be influencing? That is a true life picture of me in the St. Louis Grand Hotel receiving an award from the United States Distance Learning Association for Best Leadership Development Program. At the time, I was with Wesco International. Now, not only have I gotten to do some of those things recently, but also Toastmasters pushed me to become my student speaker for my MBA. They wanted a graduate speaker. They opened the floor. Who would like to be a speaker? And you know, a Toastmaster is like, hey, just like my girl, Bridget, I can bet on me. I'll raise my hand. In fact, my husband dared me. He said, oh, they want a speaker. I dare you. I dare you to write a speech and see if they pick you. And I said, oh, challenge done. Okay. I wrote that speech. I submitted it and they picked me. And in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, in front of 1,500 plus attendees, I got to give my student commencement speech. They gave me a plaque and everything. And it is on my LinkedIn if you want to see it. It's years ago, but it's still one of my proudest moments. I'm not sharing any of this to boast about me. This isn't about me. The only way you get to national lecterns, national stages, national podcasts, interviewing as prestigious people like mayors, being co-hosted with someone who's a CEO of an organization is because you have built that faith and confidence in yourself through Toastmasters. Period. None of it would have happened without Toastmasters. So the reason I'm sharing all of this is because you never know what gifts are waiting for you on the other side of courage. The theme of today is about showing up. The more I showed up for life, the more life showed up for me. That's in opportunities, in growth, but also in love. I met the love of my life through Toastmasters. I don't know very many people who can say that. I think it's a very unique, kind of one of a kind story. I married the person I was supposed to be mentoring in Toastmasters. Lord help me. But when we show up fully, life meets us there. So every pathway, and I loved how you all have been focusing on pathways and how we can really make sure that people understand what a gift pathways is and how to really use it as a tool to fuel your growth. Every pathway leads to somewhere greater. And these pathways within Toastmasters, listen, they're more than programs. They are literally blueprints for leadership. Each project builds communication, more confidence, and even more credibility for you. And progress compounds. I like this. It's called the compound effect. Every meeting, every speech, every evaluation moves you closer to mastery, whichever pathway that you're taking. I saw some of them. I took persuasive influence, I believe, when I was in my club, the last club I was in. I loved it. Loved it. It's about leadership beyond the club. It bleeds into everything that you do. So the same mindset that you are using in pathways is the mindset that's going to fuel success in your career, success in your relationships, and success in your life. The lesson I want to leave you with today is to keep showing up. Your next pathway might be the one that changes everything. Every single speech you give is a step toward the leader that you are becoming. And I have known Renisha for years now. I'm not going to count the years because we're still young and lovely, right? It hasn't been that many years, right? But I've known her for years. And when I see her using her gift in so many different capacities outside of her role at Home Depot, it's proof that everything that she pours into this program is pouring back into her. So I want to share this quote with you on the screen. Growth does not end when you reach the podium. Growth does not end when you leave the podium. That growth is staying with you throughout your entire career. It is being shined on others who know you and see you developing. And now that I've got a 6-year-old daughter, bless her heart, her name is Sophia. She is a little Rachel, I call her. I know that she's watching, and I want to inspire her to show up and to step out and to be courageous and to bet on herself, like Miss Bridget taught us, right? This is what's going to really get you to the next level and transform your life. So I want to ask you this today. How will you show up next? Right? You showed up today. It's a Saturday in Atlanta and it's cool. I got the fireplace on. It's cool, y'all. And here you are on a call, still pouring into yourself and still learning to educate yourself through this fall education summit. And my question for you is, and I would love for you to put your imagination into this and put it in the chat. Who might be waiting for you to show up and lead? Who is waiting for you to step out with courage, with faith in yourself? And what could that lead to? The answer for me is, I don't know. I think TEDx is next. I got my sights are set on TEDx. I want to be a TEDx speaker, Roy. I want to be on a bigger stage, right? I want to be talking at Sony. I want to be talking at Nike. I want to be talking everywhere. Who might be waiting for you to show up and lead? And I want you to put it in the chat, because when we write it out, the universe meets us there. I strongly believe in the power of self-belief and in visualization. And if you can visualize that next step for you, it is that much easier to make it, right? So I see some answers in the chat. The next generation is waiting. Yes, your neighbors, thank you, Janet, are waiting. Who else? Who else is waiting? Budding entrepreneurs. I have clients. I'm a coach. I have clients that depend on me to step up and show up and lead, right? So with that, I want to just leave you with this. Toastmasters is more than just a club. It is more than just a group of us who get together who like to talk. I mentioned earlier that my husband is very, very stoic, so he doesn't like to talk. He joined Toastmasters to try to get out of his shell. And it worked for a little bit, and now he's stuck with me for life. I want you all to understand this club is more than just people who get together for an hour or so and perform different roles. It is a club that believes in you and the power of you and wants to see you grow and show up. So